and welcome to Module 13. With the module, we're going to be going over blogs and your social media examiner presentation. So first off, starting with blogs, we all know what blogs are. Most of us read them all the time, daily. Some of us write them. So blogs actually go back to the 1990s, where its early form was an online diary where people would share their thoughts about their daily lives. The first blog was from Justin Hall in 1994 with his personal homepage, Justin's Links. The word blog actually came from the word weblog. So there's lots of different types of blogs here. Here's kind of a list that you can browse through of the most popular blogs. Although this data is a few years old, the top blogs here are still pretty much the same, which is fashion, food, travel, beauty, music, and fitness being the top blogs. So why are these blogs so popular? Well, they give everyday people a voice. Anyone can write a blog. You don't need to be a professional anything. They provide an easy way for anyone from around the world to share opinions and ideas with a large audience, because these blogs can be public on the internet for anyone to read. They help readers keep up to date on the latest trends and topics that they're interested in. So your hobbies, sports, crafts, food, music, traveling, anything you can think of. And they're a great marketing tool for many businesses. They actually help with SEO, which is search engine optimization, and we'll get into that a little later. So here's just an example of a screenshot of a blog. This is actually a blog that I write for Injinji. Been writing for them for the past year and a half now. So it's based on an interest. You know, Injinji is they make products for runners, ultra runners, and trail runners. So they have a blog as part of their website. Here are a couple here's another blog that I actually read a lot, is the Prana blog, which is mainly make clothing, but they make some other gear that is towards the outdoors person. So here's a couple of blogs here. Best foods to eat on a plane, because the outdoors people need to travel. And Chris Burger travel hack tips. So again, traveling, because Prana demographic is travelers, mainly hikers and rock climbers. So some of the benefits of blogging is that it increases brand awareness, it humanizes the brand, facilitates word-of-mouth marketing, provides an easy way to keep customers up to date on industry trends and company products and services. It creates meaningful and shareable conversations with customers. I already mentioned the SEO aspect. Establishes credibility and trust with customers. It increases the web traffic, because it's just another way to drive people to the website. It helps brands get discovered on social media, and it generates leads, which is really the most important part, to make money. So some of the disadvantages of blogging is, for those of you that have ever written a blog, it does require large time commitment. For an example, when I write blogs for Inji, I have to, if I'm interviewing a professional athlete, I have to schedule a meeting with the professional athlete. So creating a Zoom meeting, it takes time to do that. Coming up with my questions or topic for the blog. The actual interview itself takes time. Writing the blog afterwards, coming up with photos and making sure all the links work, editing the blog, making any type of changes, and then publishing the blog. So it does take time to make a blog. There's no instant payback. So you don't see, the longer your blog, the more traffic you'll generate over time, but it's not instantaneously like, oh my gosh, I wrote a blog, 5 minutes after publishing it, I'm making all these sales and money. No, it takes a little bit of time. So new blog content needs to be added regularly in order to keep readers engaged. So for example, with Injinji, my client, I write 2 blogs a month for them. Usually they're posted, second and fourth week of the month. So it's continuous, it's consistent, 2 times a month, and it's great. There's a large saturation of blogs online, making it increasingly hard for brands to compete, and it takes time to build a large following. ROI can be difficult to measure with blogs. They do have some analytic tools now to help with this, but it still can be a little bit difficult for people that are getting started. So how do you get started with blogging? You set a specific and measurable goal, whether it be the number of visitors to your website, your traffic, if you're a part of Google Analytics, engagements, likes, comments, and shares. Pretty much all the blog applications out there, even the free ones, you're able to like, comment, and share. And the number of leads could be a measurable goal for you. So identifying your target market is another thing you need to do in the beginning. What do they want to know about you or your company or product or service? And what topics will resonate with them? So I just did a blog recently, since it's winter time for runners, and it was on winter running. and the safety of running at night, whether it be reflectors, special lighting, special clothing, gloves to keep you warm, etc. So it's got to be a topic that resonates with the audience. So creating a blog site, there's a lot of free blog sites out there. You can link them to your website. Some websites just have a little add-on, such as WordPress has just a little add-on. And like I said, there's free sites. It's pretty easy to get started. You can have a consistent branding and color schemes. There's an about page. You can use a template, social sharing buttons. All the blog sites have these features, comment feature, subscribe button. All of them have these features all built in now. They make it pretty easy for you. So here's another blog I wrote a long time ago, Ultra Buds, which is my running group that I just do for fun. And I no longer write to this blog because I spend too much time writing for my clients now instead of myself, which is totally fine. But I just use Tumblr. It was a free service, and I connected it to the Ultra Buds website, and it was super easy to get started. So when you're brainstorming topics for a company, a brand, a service, a product, you ask your sales team the top questions customers are asking. You can research what competitors are doing, keyword research, look at existing company content and see if you can break it up into blog posts. So say there's a 20-page white paper out there on a company that you work for. You can break those up into different blog posts and make them a little bit more exciting, add images to it, add different links, maybe a video, and that could be 3 or 4 right there. And it's just another way to drive business to your website. So you want to create an editorial and distribution strategy. So determining who will be writing and editing the blog content and subject matter experts that need to be involved to contribute content. So for me with Ingingy, I create a calendar, and if it's winter time, we want to talk about winter running. If it's summertime, we talk about summer running, maybe hydration, running in the heat. If there's a huge race coming up or marathon or ultra marathon, we'll gear some blogs towards that. Maybe it's an athlete who got first place at a crazy race. We'll gear something towards that, but it's all planned out 2 to 3 months in advance is what we do. We determine the subject matter and the experts. So maybe the athlete, or if I'm bringing in more than one athlete, so who's going to be helping to write the blog, right? Determining the quantity, how often and when to post the blogs. So that fits into your marketing channel, into your email. If you're running email campaigns, if you're running social media campaigns, you want to make sure that you're distributing the blog, maybe not at the same time, maybe at the same time, depending on what it is. So some types of blogs. Now these are types of blogs. There's so many different types of blogs here. You can do how-to tutorials, controversial blogs, problem-solving, reports, challenges, checklists, review blogs. If you're reviewing a product or a service, case studies, what-if blogs, questions, current news and events, comparison, lists, behind-the-scenes, research, inspiration, timeline, interview. I mostly do interview blogs, but I do a lot of question blogs, behind-the-scenes research, review blogs, but for me, I mostly do interview blogs, but there's all these different types. So when you first get down to writing a blog post, it's similar to writing a paper. So you want to start with an outline. Decide how long the blog will be. Longer posts tend to perform better on search engines, but shorter posts may resonate with the readers more because you got to remember people's attention spans. You don't want it to be too long. However, the content, strategy, topic, and audience will ultimately dictate the length of the blog post. So write down all of your main takeaways and key points to include in the blog and organize them into sections. Then you want to have your blog post title. This must be catchy and engaging, pulling the reader to learn more. So you want to catch that reader. You want them to read your blog. This is a great place to include keywords. You want it short and to the point. So 70 characters or less is what is recommended. You can come up with a few working titles first, write your blog, and then change and finalize your title. A lot of people have better luck that way with finalizing their title after they write the whole blog. I, for one, usually have better luck with a title after I write my blog. You want to have an introduction. So this is your first chance to grab the reader's attention. If the reader's not hooked within the first few seconds, then they're going to stop reading. So think about it when you read blogs. What keeps you reading a blog and what keeps you from not reading a blog? So think about those things as you're writing your intro. Tell a story, share a joke, use a statistic, provide an interesting fact, maybe ask a question or state something controversial. The intro should also provide readers with the purpose of the post, directly addressing a problem that the reader may have. Your main body of a blog. This is where you get into the why and how of the problem you presented in the introduction. So first you present the problem. Maybe it's runners and they don't know what safety tips to do when they're running at night or running in the dark. So if you're scared of running in the dark, here are the top 10 tips from professional runners so that you can run safely in the dark, right? You could tell a story, include statistics, provide core points through a solution to the problem. A conclusion. So you want to bring the readers full circle and summarize the main points and key takeaways of the blog. A lot of people have issues with writing a conclusion, and it will take a little bit of practice. So you can end the blog with a call to action link to entice readers to share your post. You can leave a comment, subscribe to the blog, sign up for an email, download an asset, or visit your website. You can also choose to end with a cliffhanger, an inspirational statement, or tease a future blog post, which will provide a more in-depth analysis of the topic. I try to use cliffhangers as much as I can because I'm consistently writing blogs for this particular company, but sometimes that's hard, and I add some sort of different type of conclusion. You want to optimize for SEO, so the search engine optimization. This is where you're going to include keywords and hyperlinks, and you can have the option to subscribe and share on social media. Formatting, the publishing date, header, and inline images. A lot of the blog sites nowadays automatically do the formatting for you. They make it super duper easy. They make it easy to add sections, change the text, fonts, bullets, lists. It's great to use bullet points and lists and different sections. It's easier to read the blogs. And you always want to proofread and publish. When you can, have someone else proofread for you. You can also use apps like Grammarly to help you with your grammar in case that's kind of an issue for you. So when it comes to promoting a blog, I think the best way to promote a blog is through social media and email, especially if you already have a following and a database. You can either use paid or organic social media. You can use advertising, press releases, employee outreach. If you work for a company with a lot of employees, share your blog with employees and have them share it. You can actually spend money on web ads or company web pages and Google AdWords. So lots of different ways to promote a blog. I think they're super fun to write. Between all my clients, I probably write 3 to 4 blogs a month, but it's all on a subject that I'm super duper passionate about. So I love doing it. And I get to talk to professional athletes all the time. So it's pretty amazing. I know other people who are super into food and they love writing blogs on different food. And every time they go to a restaurant or try a new place or try a new recipe, they write a blog on it. And I love reading those. They're actually really cool. So whatever you're into, whether it's a hobby or a company that you work for, blogs are super great way to engage with people and your demographic. So your module 13 assignments here are going to be your check-in 7, which is your childhood crush, and your discussion 7, which is social media networks.